Hey, I'm Tony Qualls, and you're at Gnosis Brewing and Meadery in Merrillville, Indiana. Making this beer here with my partners, Adam, Eric, Keith, and Brandon, for about 6 months since we opened the tap room. We currently share a production facility with Meadery. So Gnosis Brewing and Meadery under the same roof. We make mead, wine, cider, and then all of our beers. We chose Blichmann as our 5-barrel brew house to get our microbrewery going, and it's been a successful relationship, and it's fit our needs very well.
Part of our reasoning is that chimney right there. That was an existing hole that we could use, and Tony got on the roof and on a ladder and made it happen. So that was a big influencer for where the boil kettle had to go in this setup. It was cool that Blichmann, it was no problem to make that happen, obviously. So we're grateful and happy about that.
Yeah, also where this location is, it gives us better access to be closer to all the fermenters. We also have a 10-barrel fermenter over there. If we do a double turn on the system, we use less hose length to get there. And these hoses, there's every little section has a gallon of wort in it. So it makes it easier to get more efficiency and get closer to our cold side.
Yeah, well said. We can start the process here and feed this manifold from the whirlpool arm on this HLT, and that lets us actually feed from the bottom up on this mash tun so that we're not spraying our hot liquor through the cooler air and then basically cooling that liquor off before we start adding grist. So that's step one. Is Tony and I have already pre-rinsed the system. It's just a perfunctory thing we do to make sure there's no caustic or anything else in there. We drain out the hoses. I preheated this mash tun. Now we fill a little bit of hot liquor in here to toss some grist onto. And the idea is to get a couple inches worth of water on top of that grain screen so that once we start throwing grist on there, it doesn't immediately gum up. It's got some liquor to sort of mix around with and play with.
We've had very good luck holding mash temps in this non-insulated mash tun. It's been really good for us. Once we nail that initial mash temp, holding it hasn't been an issue at this point. Would you agree, Adam?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I would say I was pretty impressed with the thermal mass insulating itself enough to keep a 1-hour mash very consistent in temp. And that was something we were worried about, and it's turned out to be a non-issue, really. But today we're just making our take on a traditional Munich Helles lager, and this beer is called Soft Open. The namesake comes from the fact that the malt character has a great presence, a very light sweetness, but it's soft on the palate, very drinkable, and it happened to be released when we had our Soft Open in July. I will say that for those out there who have any questions about the capabilities, we've stretched the system to its max limits because we could do everything from a Helles or an American light lager to a stout that's tastes like brownie batter and is as black as the night. So lots of style variants here. We pretty much do just about any style that you could imagine in it. Huge flaked adjunct hazies, things of that nature. So far we haven't had an issue. I like this manifold a lot. It's been really nice. Coming off a pilot system that was hard piped, it was so easy to keep clean. And then the hoses you get with these high pressure hoses are actually pretty nice. They're very flexible. I was a little skeptical about them when I thought about soft piping this, but the hoses that come with it are extremely flexible and easy to deal with. You're not going to be rustling them. I do like that. And it's very versatile because we can pop a hose off easy, whereas if you're hard piped, you're kind of stuck with the channels that the hard piping is set up for. So for us, not knowing where this brew house would end up, maybe in a year if we change direction or get a bigger system, we didn't want to lock ourselves into hard piping it.
As we're lautering out of here into the boil kettle, we are trying to get that the level of the wort and the mash down to where we're actually seeing the grist. We don't start to really sparge on top of a lot of wort that's sitting there, because I think we're finding better efficiency where get as much of that high concentration wort out of that mash tun and then into the boil kettle and then start sparging, which most people probably do. But again, if you're coming from a system where you're not making beer that you're selling professionally. Like, you know, there's that.
You get a lot for your money with the Blichmann for what it's capable of, for, you know, comparably much less money outlay in the front. And for a growing brewery who's just investing so much money into the equipment, it really allows you to be versatile without that initial investment, and you can get fancier in the future, but make your beer, you're totally able to do it in a high quality level for a price point that is very competitive, if not the most competitive for the quality and the capability you're getting. The fruits of your labor is serving a beverage that you crafted, made from microorganisms and agriculture and your creativity. And those things combined is the fulfillment. So my favorite beer currently is the beer we brewed today, which would be Soft Open, a Munich-style Helles Lager. And I appreciate everyone's time and Blichmann for coming out here and filming some stuff. Our relationship's been great. I look forward to the future. Cheers.